Tzu Chi's disaster assessment team has completed its first mission in Japan's hard-hit Iwate Prefecture. While surveying the extensive damage left by the earthquake and tsunami, the team continued to deliver aid supplies to local residents. Volunteers distributed 20 tons of aid, including blankets, shawls, thermal underwear, instant rice, nuts, and mixed grain powder to thousands of survivors. DaAi reporters followed the distribution and, with the permission of the residents, filmed rare footage of life inside the emergency shelters. As relief supplies arrived in Japan's Iwate Prefecture, some volunteers immediately helped with unloading. At an emergency shelter in Rikuzentakata City, each person has been clearly assigned a task and is expected to carry out daily. As well, meetings are held twice a day. They are all steps to help return some normalcy to the residents' lives.
We decided among ourselves how to distribute and rotate the work assignments among those living here. As well, we set up a code of behavior that everyone is expected to follow. By doing so, we can live together harmoniously. For those that cannot abide by the code, they are asked to leave.
Although it can be hard, at a time like this, it helps bring everyone's efforts together.
Each resident wears a name tag symbolizing that whether or not residents knew each other before the disaster, everyone living here now is part of the same family. A war veteran and now a survivor of this natural disaster, Mr. Kumagaya took it upon himself to organize the governing committee.
We have heard only good things about you volunteers from Taiwan, and so it's with an easy heart that we invite you into our lives here. You are all our friends, and we thank you.
Tzu Chi's disaster assessment team is visiting 6 different emergency shelters in the city. In addition to inquiring into the conditions at each shelter, they also ask how many people are living in the surrounding areas. As second wave of relief supplies arrives, volunteers immediately dispatch them to those in need.
The whole city has been hurt and the local economy is completely devastated. So it's not just those directly affected by the tsunami that need help. Many of the old people living nearby are in desperate need of foodstuffs. Our mixed grain powder can easily satisfy their needs.
With little time to feel sorry for themselves, residents line up to pick up supplies. They know that by only working together can they get through this difficult time. 140 people live in this sports stadium. It seems spacious enough until you realize that living under each tent is an entire family. With no indoor heating, it is cold enough to see one's breath. These are the conditions that families here have to face every day. In each emergency shelter, living conditions are different. Here, each tatami mat serves a person's home. Packed together, the residents aren't complaining as they find strength in numbers. Living packed together like this could be difficult. However, residents instead use the constant company as a source of companionship, which gives them the strength to face another day. Another 4 containers of aid from Taiwan were due to arrive in Japan on Wednesday. Tzu Chi's disaster survey team is now back at Tokyo, having completed its initial mission in Iwate Prefecture. The volunteers visited 6 emergency shelters in Funato City to deliver aid to thousands of survivors from a dozen beach communities that were wiped out by the March 11 tsunami. People of Japan's Funato City lived so close to the open sea in the belief that the 1-story tall man-made flood banks would protect them, yet these collapsed in the face of nature's might.
Not only could the levee not withstand March 11's tsunami, everything less than 3 floors high was swallowed whole. Frames of concrete homes remain, but nothing is left of the homes built from wood.
不管是房舍还是家具，所有的东西都被海浪卷成一团。
Homes and furniture have been rolled into a big messy pile by the tsunami. Many beach communities of Orfanato City share the same fate. Though the government cleared a path for vehicles in just 3 days, the rest remains untouched due to possibilities of finding survivors or bodies of the deceased. Major cleanup will only begin when rescue and recovery efforts have concluded.
More than half a month has passed since the tsunami, but survivors are reminded of that terrible day everywhere they look. Hoping to alleviate the suffering in the city, Tzu Chi's disaster survey team visits 6 emergency shelters while handing out supplies on the second day of their arrival. Out of respect of the survivors' privacy, the handout was to be outside the shelters, but the team was invited in by grateful residents.
My house was washed away from here to there. I was really scared that day when it happened. Escaping was not easy for me. Thankfully, a neighbor offered to take me in his car. That's how I got away. The tsunami reached all the way to over there.
Wrapping a shawl round a senior to keep warm, both the giver and receiver can't help but cry. At moments like this, a sincere hug is worth more than 1,000,000 words. Everyone here has their own story. Some lost the homes they built single-handedly. Some lost their loved ones. Never did these survivors think that there were people in other countries who cared for them with the same love as a family member.
Having read this letter from you, I now know Taiwan has had its share of earthquakes. Taiwan has also faced hardships. Thank you for coming all the way from Taiwan.
The love from around the world has touched the survivors deeply and re-energized their hearts with a newfound strength. Cold weather still engulfs northeast Japan, and the survivors face many challenges ahead. But with love from around the world, hopefully the road to recovery will be easier.